Hello, hello. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I normally give questionable writing advice through running metaphors, but have since shifted over to do productivity sprints. And I can take this out for now, so I don't need to listen to myself talking. It's a Monday, and oh boy, was it a Monday. um, yeah, work was work. It was a pretty relaxing weekend, and then just Monday hit, and oh boy. Things. Actually, it was a really fun weekend. I went with my uncle, my wife, and my uncle's family. So my aunt and my cousin, and we all watched a rugby game in DC. So in Audi Fields, it was the women's rugby game. It was really cool. The women's team played against Fiji. It was a doubleheader, so the men's team played against England, and we didn't stay for the doubleheader part of it because, wow, was it a hot, hot day. I mean, I was just sitting in the stands and just dripping sweat. It was pretty gross. Now, the women were fantastic. They played really well, and USA ended up beating Fiji, which is really cool to watch. And there were a couple of stellar plays out there. It was really interesting to see because Fiji, they are, I mean, they are taller and physically larger than the USA team. So it was really very much like speed versus strength. And it was cool to watch because, like I said, the women's rugby team, it was um, like every time there was a breakaway for the USA team, they would, be able to do a lot of distance, but then a lot of the scrums and a lot of the uh, rebounds and whatnot, or coming in from the outside, a lot of those ended up going in Fiji's favor. So, like I said, it was just interesting to watch strength versus speed. So hey, and yeah, sorry, any injuries? I don't think so. I don't think there were any official injuries. There was definitely one play where like 10 different women were, it was probably only like five. I'm exaggerating here. So five different women were just down, and they had, the medics rushing through, and obviously they were like on one side, and then the ball had already gone well across the other side, and it was rough. There were a couple of really hard hits, and in every instance the women, there were a couple of times where they were down for a couple of minutes and then they popped back up, so nobody needed to go on stretchers, and everybody who looked injured or looked like they took a nasty hit was able to walk it off to the sidelines at least. Yeah, lots of stoppage play. It was, like I said, a very, very hot day. I think it was 80, maybe not, maybe 95. And it's an outdoor stadium, Audi Field. So most of it is just the sun is beating down on you the entire time. There's, I don't know which direction it is. I'll say the east and west sides, there's some overhang. So I think the west side got it a lot nicer, where they were covered the entire match, but we were out in the sun, and they were great seats. So we were right near one of the end zones, so we got some. Oh wow, yeah, over 90 degrees. Whew. It was rough. Yeah, so we got some really good views of the tries as they came in, but all around fun. And yeah, hey Morgan, thank you for joining in. And hey Richard, I'm glad you're on holiday and still checking in. Good to see. And Adriana, thank you for being here and for supplementing my stories. I do appreciate it, and fact checking me when I get things wrong. Always good thing. But that being said, let's get started. I'm ready to be productive. I am in chapter 40. In theory, my book has 41 chapters plus an epilogue. So I am like right near the end, and spoiler alert, for the most part, the big things have already happened. There's already a resolution. It's not a good resolution. So now we have the denouement, and well, technically in this chapter, it's a different point of view of the climax. So I need to write that and then sort of take it in through to the finale. So in theory, my book is almost done. And I'm going to be saying that for another 2 months at least. Ooh, I do like smash burgers. But that all being said, everything's up and ready to go. So I will see you all in 30 minutes. Oh, sweet. You're starting Act 5 of 5. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, you passed the 200,000 mark. You got 500,000 words to go. So hopefully you are able to take a chunk of it away tonight. Good luck. All right. That was the first of our productivity sprints. So hopefully things are working well for you. I start off a bit slow, but then I got into a really great routine, and we are 495 words in. Oh boy. I am pretty proud of that one. I didn't think I would. I thought this was going to be a lot slower, and I know that the writing is a bit rough, so I'm definitely going to need to edit this and tune it up a little bit more. But that being said, I mean that is a great start to today. Uh, cool. And I have a few notes for where to take things from here. Sorry, I am definitely not planning on being that productive for the other two sprints here. And I don't know. Honestly, I'm just, well, whatever. I will sit here through two more sprints. I don't know how much I'll be able to do of the third sprint. So I don't know. I am just mentally fried today. And I feel like that 500 words just kind of took it all out of me. But Richard, way to go on getting, where are you? I saw you. You had 470 words. Awesome. $470 words and sweet. I'm glad to hear that you are working on the outline. I mean, that's great for productivity sprints and great for prep to your next novel. I don't actually know what you're working on. It's been a while since we caught up, so please feel free to share in the chat what you're currently writing and how that progress is coming along. I mean, if you're in the outline phases, I know it's a long way away from actually getting down to writing, but I don't know how excited you are to start on a new book or where you are in that process or even what genre it's in. So yeah, Morgan, feel free to share anything that you care to. If not, that's perfectly fine too. I can handle the dishes. That don't worry about that. Wow. I do like that you know exactly how many chapters you have left to write. Mine has been a moving target the whole way, especially as I wrote a batch of shorter chapters, which means that this pushed out the total number of chapters that I would write, so that way I can get to the conclusion that I wanted to reach and still have the word count to get in all those emotional beats. Oh, I already blew way past the anniversary of my book. I know I started off, I was actually past outlining, so I definitely started it. I probably started it back in March. And I know that I was absolutely starting to write certain chapters in July of last year because of everything that was going on then. So I am well past a year on this work in progress. Let's see. Currently working on book 3 of your trilogy. Okay, so re-outline. So I guess, does that mean once you had the outline set, you're going to go back and rewrite book number 3. How much more work are you putting in? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But yeah, so if I am 3,200 words away from that rough target of 80,000 words. I have 2 chapters left to go, so that should bring me pretty close to 80,000. It will be really cool if I could get above that mark for draft 0. I don't think I'll get there. I think I'll still be a little bit short because I don't feel like padding out extra things in this part of the story. I'm going to go back and revise everything and then figure out where I can definitely scrunch down some things and then expand out some other details there. Gotcha. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 40,000 is a lot. That's tough. Well, with that out of the way, I say let's get started on another 20-minute sprint. So I will see you all on the other side 20 minutes, and hopefully we'll all be able to work through all of our problems and get through to writing exactly how much we want in our writing and get those chapters in, get those outlines in, and just keep being productive. So see you all in 20 minutes.
continue.
Yep. I was on mute. So, sorry about that. I was just talking to myself. Anyways, we are 2 sprints down. I am saying that I'm not really feeling the third sprint, so I am going to call it after this. I have written 843 words, which is pretty good for the night. And I'm might be able to finish this chapter if I put in some time over the weekend, which is what I can and should do, which means that next Monday night, when I do this again, I could finish my epilogue. So if everything goes according to plan, this will be the last chapter of my book, and then we had the epilogue, so that's technically the last chapter. So I could finish this chapter this week, work on the epilogue, and by the end of this month, I could have a complete draft 0 for my 4th novel, which is fantastic. I'm terrified to go back and reread what I wrote a year ago. Well, to be fair, I did start writing in July, so it's 13 months to write a draft. It's not the worst thing ever. And yeah, that means that from then on, I will be using these productivity sprints to do editing and revising all of the works I've written. So it won't be, I definitely won't be tracking in terms of words written because that won't make any sense, but I would likely track the number of chapters I've revised during the various writing sprints. And yeah, definitely. I mean, I could use just a few minutes to wind down, so we're on your time, whatever you want to do. And thank you, everyone, for joining me. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Richard. I hope you're all doing well, and I do like that you had some fun conversations about typewriters. I will see you all next Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm actually taking that day off, so I might be a little bit more relaxed and could probably fulfill the full 3 writing sprints. I'm sorry I didn't get through for the 3rd one today, but it was mentally draining for work. Boy. I guess I can sit here and talk about that for the near future, but they are asking a lot for me. They're asking me to do some things which I don't necessarily agree with. A couple of which are actually, difficult to do. So I keep getting more work thrown on my plate than I can adequately handle. And of course, everything is, for every step forward, it's 2 steps back. So there's a whole lot of issues in just getting the job done that I need to do on top of all of the. So normally I'm testing applications for security vulnerabilities, but on top of all that, there's also other tasks associated with my job, the overhead, the all that fun stuff. So that is, well, no, I'm okay with the pain. It's gotten to the point where I don't want more money because more money means significantly more responsibilities. Like, it's gotten to the point where I'm strongly considering taking a severe pay cut if I could be like knocked down a few grades. And so that way I would be able to focus more on the testing and less on the managing. And I don't know if that's the right solution, but we are entering a busy time of the year for application security, and that those burdens are being felt all across, not just my company, but all across the industry. So, yeah. Well, that's all I can really say on that topic, short of, yes, you're right. Burnout is a real problem. And for as much time as I try and take off, weekends, nights, whatever, it feels like quite a burden. So I'm going to try and relax tonight and then pick things up tomorrow and hopefully get cracking on resolving all the problems that came up today. So with that out of the way, I will see you all next Monday night, 6 p.m. Hopefully I'll be well rested. Hopefully I'll do full 3 productivity sprints, and hopefully by the end of those sprints, I will have a completed draft 0 of just under 80,000 words for my 4th novel, work in progress. Take care, everyone, and I will see you in a week.